Hello everyone, Steve Gage here, NASM certified personal trainer and co-owner of Engage Fitness. Today we're going to go over a quick tutorial on stretching on how to eliminate elbow clicking. Anytime you're in that bending position, you feel that clicking almost where that funny bone position is, even though it's not funny because it doesn't feel funny. You feel that clicking as if something's moving around in there when you're bending the elbow back and forth, specifically when you're doing any kind of tricep or pressing position. Feel that aggravating clicking. There may not necessarily be any pain, it's just annoying. So we're going to show you how to alleviate that. So it's called snapping elbow syndrome, for lack of a better term. And what that is the radial nerve, ulnar nerve, that runs from the base of all through your neck, all the way to your chest, shoulder, all the way down to that elbow. You know, you get that sensation sometimes where you get the tingling in the pinky and ring finger, just like as if you hit your funny bone on the counter, you get that shooting pain and sometimes that numbness. And what that comes from is areas around that ulnar nerve, are affecting where that nerve is placed, because normally it falls into a groove in the elbow, but if things are tight or underdeveloped in the elbow or muscles around the elbow, it moves that nerve out of alignment. So we're going to show you today how to stretch those areas and alleviate that clicking noise. Again, small steps, so we'll start with the stretches. So first, I like to call this one the beer pong stretch, because essentially it's the motion of as if you're playing beer pong. So you're starting with the elbow in that aggravated position. Just have your pointer finger and your thumb as if you're holding a beer pong and you're going to be throwing it, bringing the elbow about to shoulder height, if not a little lower if it's uncomfortable, and you're going to be just going through the motions of throwing that pong ball. So you're extending the wrist as well as getting a little extension in that wrist, getting that hand down, and then as the wrist comes up, the elbow comes back up, and just working through that motion 10 times, slow and controlled, making sure you're getting that extra little stretch at the bottom as if you're flinging that ball into that cup and winning that tournament. Bringing it back all the way to the ear and then back forward. 10 times each arm or any arm that's being affected. Back and forth. Slow and controlled. Again, we don't want these fast. We want to really work the tension out in that motion. Back and forth. Getting that wrist, making sure the wrist comes all the way back as far as we can go, and then all the way forward, flexing forward. Again, 10 on each arm, making sure we're switching. Again, just imagine you're in high school or college and you're throwing that beer pong tournament. Practicing, warming up that elbow. Full range of motion here. Trying to get the arm all the way down to the shoulder if we can, and then flexing forward, getting the wrist down. Back and forth. Just slow, working that motion. And then relax, shake off the shoulders. So this next stretch is, I like to call it the pirate stretch, because you're essentially giving yourself an eye patch. So with this, I'm going to get rid of these because they're going to be in the way. So you're completely doing that same position with the beer pong shape, except you're going to try to bring the fingers by the jaw and the cheek, and you're trying to bring that circle that you've made with the finger onto your eyeball, hence the eye patch. That's why I call it the pirate stretch. And just trying to get to that shape. If you can just get to here and that's it, that's totally fine. Just the goal is we're trying to get that elbow up and flexed. End range is getting those fingers flat on the face. It looks silly, but it's really stretching out that nerve and that clicking elbow. So once you get the palm flat on the head, we're just going to raise that elbow, and you may not be able to because those areas are so tight, and that's why we're trying to stretch those out, because that is the area that's being affected. And just raising that elbow, coming back down, relax the arm completely. 10 reps of these, really trying to pull that stretch at the top. You'll feel that stretch, the target area, right in the spot we're trying to get. And play around with the arm placement too. You may need to start a little wider. You may be able to come in a little closer. Just work that position, and it gets that arm in full position full range of motion, and just back and forth, down. 10 times each side, starting with the fingers by the jaw and the cheek, and just slowly getting that palm, getting that eye patch thing we're looking for. Raising up and then back down. Doing both sides, starting with the fingers by the cheek, the jaw, and just slowly bringing that elbow up, and I feel that automatically right literally in that spot where that elbow clicking is happening. Get that pirate patch up high, and play around with the elbow. Getting a little high, you'll feel this. You try to get that elbow high, you'll feel that stretch right in that ulnar nerve area, and then back down. One more time, elbow high, and just like any other stretching, we're not holding the breath and just hoping for the best. We want to keep the breath flowing. Again, 10 times each side, 2 times each side, a couple days a week. You want to make sure you're spreading out the days you're doing these exercises and stretching. That way you're not aggravating that nerve. And next, I find is most effective is the wall ulnar nerve stretch. We're going to target, you're going to feel where that nerve actually runs through, moving through this exercise. So we're going to start by getting the hands flat against the wall, upside down, as if the wall is here. We're holding that hand, try to get the palm as flat as we can. If not, again, that's totally fine. We're just getting that arm flat against the wall, getting it in line with the shoulder, so level, we're not way down here or up high. We want the wrist, elbow, and shoulder in line, because that's the way that nerve runs. We want to line everything up, try to get that palm close to the wall as we can. So we're holding this shape, and now you're just going to take simple neck stretches, because this is really stretching out that nerve, because it's already stretched out in this position. We're going to add a little more stretch, lessening that aggravation of that nerve. So you're just going to take the head and tilt it to one side, and you may notice as soon as that head moves, the palm's going to want to come off the wall. You want to keep that palm as if it's glued there. I know it's a horrible thing to think of, gluing your hand to the wall. We want to pretend like that palm's glued to the wall, and we're just turning the head all the way to the side if we can, almost as if we're like a dog giving the head tilt, nice and slow, and then back to the middle, and you'll feel that tension all the way from that elbow across the bicep, all the way to the underneath of that neck. And then change position, so we're looking down, looking up, just change where your head is, and you'll feel the different stretches in that shape. Up, down, and then back to the middle. We just want to hold that stretch for 15 to 20 seconds. Again, changing the head position, so we're getting that arm flat against the wall with the hand, and just starting to the side, looking down, up, playing around to even getting back to neutral. Again, making sure we're not shrugging that shoulder. We want to have the shoulders relaxed, and the hand, the wrist, elbow, and shoulder are in one straight line. Standing to the side of the wall, just stretching to the side, looking down, and back up. Again, focusing on those breaths. We're not just taking in the deep breath and holding for 15 to 20 seconds. We want to be as relaxed as possible. We know it's going to be uncomfortable a little bit, but just breathe through those areas of tension. Down, up. And what this is called, it's called flossing. So essentially you're working all the fibers that are around that nerve and just flossing them back and forth, working them back and forth, kind of working out the tension and allowing that nerve to move a little more freely. And just the goal is to try to keep that palm flat against the wall. So say this is going to be my wall. We keep that palm flat, looking away, and then just, you can even do this from the floor. Getting that palm flat, making sure there's no pain on the elbow, and just getting the head to the side, down. And you'll find as you move that head around, you'll feel that shouldn't be a shooting sensation. You'll feel like a stretching sensation along that arm. And then relax. And our last stretch is, again, we're taking the elbow through that full range of motion. Again, it's that flossing, working all those fibers around the nerve, alleviating the tension, allowing that nerve to move freely. So with this, bending the elbow, hands open, we're going to grab with the opposite hand the ring finger and the pinky finger. And with this, we're going to bend the hands down just to where you feel is comfortable, and we're bringing that elbow down until the arm is straight. Holding it there for 1 to 2 seconds, back up, and as you come up, make sure you're holding that wrist down, because what that's doing is it's stretching that forearm where that nerve also runs, getting that stretch and allowing that nerve to get a little freedom. Full extension of the elbow, lock out, and then back up to the top. Again, these stretches are working the area of tension and the range of motion. You're feeling that discomfort. We're just changing different things, as like, for example, when we're using different hand positions, different wrist positions, we're just changing the way we normally move that joint and that elbow, and just working out the kinks. You want to do 10 reps on each side, 2 to 3 times each side. That's it. We don't want to aggravate that nerve or those areas of tension any more than they already are. And with this, we want complete lockup, because what that does is it stresses out those fibers to the max and allows that nerve to run a little more freely. So we don't feel as much stretch if we just come about halfway. We want to get that full stretch, feeling it all the way the outside, inside of the forearm where those 2 fingers run. Last one. And then relax. Shaking off any tension that's there. So we want to have no tension as much as possible. So thank you for joining me, everybody. I hope these tips and stretches were helpful for alleviating that annoying and sometimes painful elbow clicking. And again, take these 2 to 3 times a week. Over a period of time, you will see significant decrease in that clicking or even the pain. Again, we just want to make sure we're loosening up the fibers around that nerve, which runs all the way from your hand all the way up to your neck. And you'll feel it in a lot of these stretches as you're moving that neck around. You'll feel that tightness and that stretch all the way from here, all the way down to your pinky and ring finger. Again, thanks for joining me, guys. Be safe, be kind, and choose to be well. Take care.